Hello everyone and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you 5 of my best tips for tomorrow's racing. Now before we get stuck into that, just quickly want to reflect on how our selections performed today. In the end, it was a good day for us on our YouTube channel, as our first tip of the day was our only winner, but it was still a nice price, and that was UC Orr for Luca Morgan and Ben Paulin. Was handy all the way, made the running from the get-go, and that was the way really you wanted to be racing at Doncaster today. Quite a few horses that tried to make all were there when it mattered at the end. It was front runner's paradise today for a lot of horses, so I hope some of you were able to get on at 12 to 1 there. It was a good start to the day. Away from that, it did go obviously downhill. Our second selection, What's the Story, fell at the first, or unseated Charlie Hammond at the first. So yeah, that was a bit frustrating there. Our next best of the day, Hawthorne Cottage. Now this one actually did finish in second place when passing the post, but unfortunately was thrown out by the stewards and finished in 8th place in the end as the final result. That was because unfortunately Lucy Barry failed to weigh in correctly, so unfortunately the stewards decided to disqualify us. Now if you had a bet on that race, depending on your bookmaker, you might have got your money still and your profit. I bet that horse with Sky Bet, and I know as a goodwill gesture they did pay out in full, so I wasn't too bad there. But I know some of you, depending on what bookmakers you were betting with, you might not have got your money back. But for the purposes of this video, because it was advertised with William Hill, I believe they didn't actually give a refund or give your stake back. So for the profit and loss column, I will be putting it down, unfortunately, as a loss. Very frustrating, because I thought Lucy gave the horse a great ride, you know, from the front, and I thought at one point she nicked it and we were going to be cheering home another winner at Doncaster, but it wasn't to be. But yeah, just one of those things, unfortunately, that happened, and it probably was a little bit harsh actually. You can read into it on the Racing Post or on attheraces.com. It explained a little bit more what went on. But yeah, that was frustrating there. And then the Nap, Love of Zoffany, never really got to the front, and that's probably what did it. Needed to get to the front, in my opinion, if it was going to have a chance of winning the race. But yeah, just didn't get quite as fastly away as some of the other horses. So yeah, that was a bit frustrating there. But all in all, we had a 12 to 1 winner. You don't get a 12 to 1 winner every day of the week, and just hopefully it's something we can build on moving forward. So like I said, I've got 5 tips for this week. Also as well, you might notice something different. I've got glasses on. I used to wear glasses a while ago, but I have to wear glasses again now because my vision's getting a bit bad. Been staring at the screen all the time and looking at you guys. But yeah, like I said, I've got 5 tips for tomorrow's racing. No long shots, they're all going to have to win on the nose, but I'm confident we can get a couple of winners out of these. And we're going to be going to Lingfield tomorrow with the first of them, which is going to be my next best, which runs in the first race there, the 12:40, and I'm going to go with a horse here called Apex Kin for Holly Doyle and David Loughnane. Now David Loughnane stable have been in really good form at the moment. They're operating at 25% strike rate, and at the current time of recording you can back this horse at 7 to 2, and as my next best tomorrow I'm going to recommend a 1-point win bet. Now I thought the last run at Wolverhampton, when this horse finished in 4th place, was very encouraging. Laura Pearson was aboard that day, and she didn't get this fella off to the best of starts, or slowly away, as she didn't get the blindfold removed in time. So that definitely did impact this horse, but he ran on really strongly, suggesting he's coming into a little bit of form. And tomorrow he's going to be running off a mark of 75, which I think is very workable. He's won at this course before. He won back in the summer of last year off a mark of 73. But if you do a bit more digging and look at his history, he actually won at this course off a mark of 77. So 75 on paper looks a very workable mark. Also as well, that race at Wolverhampton was a class 4. Now tomorrow he'll be dropping down to a class 5. So that's another positive there. Got a good draw and stall through as well, and I really like Holly Doyle around Lingfield. It's one of her best tracks where she rides out. I remember she actually rode out her claim there a couple of years ago, so that's another tick in the box. This horse, he's quite versatile. He doesn't always have to be held up, but because there's a lack of pace on in this race tomorrow, I'm just hoping that Holly will just track the leaders. You know, don't want to get too far out the back. But yeah, if this horse can track the pace, there could be 1 or 2 that I like to go forward. I just think Apex King will come forward from that run at Wolverhampton last time, and with the yard in form and a good draw and a workable mark, I think there's lots to like about this horse's chance tomorrow, and that's why I'm going to be putting it up as my next best of the day. We then go for a bit of jumps action at the Yorkshire venue at Wetherby in the 2:35, and I'm going to be going with a horse here called Captain Moirette for Ryan Mania and Sue Smith. Now, Sue Smith's stable been a little bit quiet of late, but they always normally come to the fore in January. She normally has a great record, and she hasn't actually had any runners since January the 3rd, but she ended with a winner at Catterick before we had all the abandonments, so that's a positive thing. But yeah, looking back to this horse, Captain Mariette, now he's been a little bit disappointing on both starts this season, but he's been tried over fences. And if you look on paper, he doesn't really appear to be a horse that loves it over fences, He's 0 from 4, but if you actually look at his record over hurdles, he's got a much better record. He's 3 wins from 6 starts. And his last win over hurdles came in 2019 in December when he won at Haydock, beating Chitty Balco. Now, the pair were well clear that day of everything else, and that was in deep ground, but his rating that day when he won at Haydock was 130, and he's now down to a very workable mark on paper, at least, to 129, so he's £1 below that last win, so he looks quite fairly treated at the weights. He's had a couple of runs, and I just think going back over hurdles he'll be more comfortable. He's ran okay at Wetherby in the past as well, so that's not too much of a concern. He's currently available at 6-1, and he could be possibly a little bit weak in the market tomorrow and could maybe drift out to a bigger price, but I don't think he's to be neglected. I think there's quite a few things in his favour tomorrow. I know there's a few nice horses that are improving, like Oliver Signey's horse, but I just think this lad going back over hurdles, we could see a different animal, and at 6-1 I'm going to be willing to take a chance there with a yard that we know tend to go very well at this time of year. So a lot to like about Captain Moirette. We then stay at Wetherby and go with another extra tip, which runs in the 3:10, and I'm going to be going with Seemingly So here for Aidan Coleman and Ollie Murphy. Both had a really good day today. Ollie Murphy's horses, again, are one of those stables that do quite well in January, and they had a really good day today at Hereford, and Ollie as well had a couple of nice results at Doncaster. A few of his horses placed there, so his horses look like they're coming into a bit of form now, and this Seemingly So is actually still very unexposed over fences. Only ever had 2 goes, finished very credible second at Doncaster back in February last year, and then on his return this season he ran a fair race at Newcastle to finish second behind Scoop the Pot of Ben Haslam's. Now that horse, Scoop the Pot, on paper was a very well handicapped horse, and he ran okay last time, boosting the form to somewhat of an extent by finishing in second at Kelso. So the form doesn't look too bad. He's got a mark of 115, which I think is very workable, and there's a lot to like about what we've seen from him over fences so far. I didn't think this was a particularly strong race, and with Murphy's team coming into a bit of form, a lot more I think from this horse still to come. I think he's got a good chance in this race tomorrow, and I think at 4-1 I'll be willing to take a chance there, and I'm going to recommend a 0.5 win bet currently available at 4-1. We then go with my nap of the day, which runs in the last race at Lingfield, the 350, and I'm going to go with Dream Magic here as my nap of the day. You can currently back this horse at 7-2 at the time of recording, and I'm going to recommend a 1-point win bet for Richard Kingscote and Mark Lockney, not to be confused with David. I always get confused between the two. But yeah, this horse, Dream Magic, ran a good race last time when finishing in 3rd place at Lingfield. Now, he wasn't far behind the winner of that race, By Jove, for Michael Appleby, who only beat him by half a length. Now, if you look at the race tomorrow, our selection, Dream Magic, is going to be much better off of the weight, as By Jove has to carry a penalty, and we've got a £5 swing in our favour at the weight, so that's something I'll be really encouraged with. Also as well, Kingscote is absolutely on fire at the moment. He's leading the All-Weather Jockeys Championship, and he's got a good record on this horse as well. He's got 2 wins from his 4 starts on the horse, so that's a really positive jockey booking. I think there's lots to like about this horse. Off a mark of 60 as well, he's still fairly well treated in my opinion. If you go back through some of his form, even last season, he was running well at this track off a £7 higher mark. He's good in the weights tomorrow. I think he'll take all the beating in this race, and I think he'll reverse the form with By Jove. So lots to like about this horse tomorrow, and I think he'll get another win at Lingfield under his belt. So Dream Magic, short and sweet, but I just think there's a lot in his favour tomorrow, and I think arguably he should be a shorter price, and By Jove shouldn't be 2-1. I think Dream Magic should be nearer that price. So if you still can get the 7-2, I think that's a great price, and I'll be annoyed if he doesn't go very close tomorrow. We then end at Newcastle tomorrow in their last race of the day, the 6:30. Good all-weather card there tomorrow. They've got a couple of fast-track all-weather qualifiers, but in the 6:30 at Newcastle, I'm going to go with Higher Kingdom here for Daniel Tadhope and Archie Watson. Now, as an extra tip of the day tomorrow, I'm going to recommend a 0.5 win bet at 4-1. Now, this horse is trained by Archie Watson, and Daniel Tudhope is booked for the ride in the colours of Clipper Logistics. Now, when this horse, Higher Kingdom, burst on the scene, I remember thinking, God, he's going to be a horse you want to be wanting to follow. By Kingman, the star at the moment. And yeah, you were thinking he was going to go on to bigger and better things. But things have been a bit mixed for Higher Kingdom. He probably hasn't reached the heights they thought they would with this horse. But still, nonetheless, I still think there is ability in him. He actually won at the course as well towards the autumn of last year when he ran over 6 furlongs. But 6 furlongs was probably just on the short side for him. But I think the stiff track, the stiff nature of it, will suit him at Newcastle, returning there. He's down to a mark now of 77, which I do think is workable. He ran at Kempton last time when he finished in 5th place, but the run was better than the bare form as it looks on paper, because he was stuck out wide and in the end was up against it from the get-go. But he did run a solid race, and the handicapper did drop him £2 for that, and I don't think the nature of the track particularly might have not suited him at Kempton despite winning there in the past. But I think going to Newcastle, this stiff track will suit him. He's got a good draw on stall 6 tomorrow, and again, like some of our other selections, he's taken a class drop tomorrow, which I think will be a good positive move. And there's going to be quite a few horses in here that are really going to have to step their performance up if they're to beat Higher Kingdom, in my opinion. So yeah, lots to like about Higher Kingdom tomorrow. Archie Watson stable, I should have mentioned as well, coming into a bit of form now. They've had a few winners over the last week or so. So yeah, plenty to like about how the yard are going at the moment. And I just think this horse, Higher Kingdom, will go very close in the last at Newcastle tomorrow. So let's just round through the tips there. In the 12.40 at Lingfield, Apex King is my next best of the day. A 7-2 1-point win bet. In the 2.35 at Wetherby is an extra tip. Captain Mariette, 6-1 0.5 win only bet. In the 3.10 at Wetherby, we go Seemly So at 4-1 0.5 win only bet. In the 3.50 at Lingfield is the nap of the day. Dream Magic 7-2 win only bet. And then in the 6.30 at Newcastle, we go Higher Kingdom at 4-1 0.5 win only bet. So yep, they're the 5 tips for tomorrow's racing. If you're enjoying these videos, please remember to hit the thumbs up, and I appreciate all the support you give me. Also as well, if you want to follow me on Twitter, make sure you do so. It's the best place to do so on social media, where my handle is at LuckyLoaded15. Also as well, please don't forget to subscribe here to my YouTube channel at LuckyLoaded15. And if you want to find out a little bit more about myself and about my career in racing, make sure you head to my website, which is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. So please game responsibly. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.